Can you go over the number of fatalities and the victims again? I couldn't.
Yes.
Please.
We have 17 confirmed victims. 12 victims were within the building. Two victims are outside, just outside the building. One victim is on the street at the corner of Pine Island. And 2 folks, people lost their lives at the hospital.
You think this kid woke up this morning and is hell-bent on causing massive destruction at a school?
I have no idea.
So, Sheriff, do you believe the shooting started outside and went inside, or did he go inside of the school? Is there any idea?
Started outside and went inside. Thank you.
Those were 17 fatalities.
17 fatalities.
What about the injuries?
How many other injuries?
Well, at one point, I reported that there were 14 folks, 14 of our people that went to the hospital to succumb to their wounds. I don't know if that, if more people were wounded, or if we're just finding out that more people went to the hospital. Perhaps they weren't transported by us. Perhaps their own families or friends transported them. But we will keep you updated.
Have all of the families been notified at this point?
You are listening to Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel updating us on the very latest with the shooting there at Stoneman Douglas High School. The death toll rises by the hour.
The sheriff now confirming 17 people have died in this mass shooting incident. Good evening, everyone. You're watching an expanded edition of WPBF 25 News at 6. I'm Felicia Rodriguez alongside Tiffany Kenny.
And we are learning more about the suspect and what happened today. We know that he has been identified as Nicholas Cruz. Our Todd McDermott is right outside the high school with the very latest. Todd?
Tiffany, Felicia, that young man, Nicholas Cruz, is 19 years old. He did attend Stoneman Douglas High School, no longer attended here. I just talked to a middle schooler who said he heard that the young man had been expelled. We have not confirmed that. That young man, Nicholas Cruz, 19, is in custody in the Broward County Jail for now. Being held for shootings in which 17 people at Stoneman Douglas were killed. The details come this way. 2:40 in the afternoon, it is dismissal time at the high school. We're not sure what happened first, whether the bell rang for children to leave or if the fire alarm was pulled. Either way, high school students were in the hallway. The gunfire began and many people were shot. And Nicholas Cruz, according to police, is the person who pulled the trigger, then was able to mix in with other students and calmly walk away. The death toll now 17. Students were some were forced to stay in school and lockdown. Others evacuated because it was already time to go. A short time ago, we talked with a young man who was able to leave the school, heard there was a shooting because it was dismissal time, ran for the fence around this campus, hopped the fence, and got to the Walmart. Many other students were forced to stay in the school for a time. Imagine what law enforcement is facing. They have this buildings that may number half a dozen of this very large high school here in Parkland, Florida, going room by room to see if the shooter was still inside, if there was another shooter, perhaps an accomplice hiding, or whether there might be an explosive device or some other kind of device meant to cause mayhem or death that could have been left behind. It appears that for all intents and purposes, the buildings have been cleared. We have seen school buses going in the last half hour to 45 minutes to pick up students. Other students were evacuated to the Marriott Heron Bay down the street to be reunited with their parents. The West Glades Middle School, which is literally a minute walk away from the high school itself, it's on the campus itself, was also in lockdown. Those students were told to stay in the room. They were on lockdown for about 2 hours following the shooting. Many more questions still to come. Questions about the motivation for this young man. We have heard that perhaps he had a gun fetish of some kind. We don't know if he had a specific vendetta, perhaps, against someone in the school in particular, or wanted to cause mayhem. If that's what the shooter wanted to cause, he did. Thousands of parents are out here on the road, stuck in traffic, trying to get here. Law enforcement from half a dozen agencies, including federal agencies, trying to get here to protect children, to try to make sure that the gunman was in custody. And again, parents still picking up their children tonight, some 4 hours after this mass shooting at Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. I used the word before, it's eerie. It's just surreal how quiet it was. After that kind of violence, that kind of carnage in a school, people whispered walking up and down the street. The only sounds really were law enforcement vehicles and ambulances going up and down a Coral Ridge Road here, trying to get to the school to tend to the wounded, to get them to those 2 Broward medical hospitals to be treated. The death toll now at 17. And as I stand here, I'm still seeing parents slowly walking their high schoolers back home tonight, some 4 hours after this horrifying, terrible day for people here in Parkland, Florida, in Broward County, the South Florida area, and of course the United States. 17 people dead. We're still trying to get word on what the number is between students and perhaps adults who tried to stop this young man who, for all intents and purposes, we know got away. Let's go back to Tiffany and Felicia for now.
All right, Todd, and the sheriff just saying in that news conference did confirm that it was, yes, students and adults, but just like you said, we have no word on how many of those who are dead, the 17 dead, how many are students and how many are adults. And we also heard in that news conference that the suspect had one AR-15 rifle with countless magazines. I want to go now to Ted White, who is also in Parkland outside the high school. He has spent the afternoon talking with students and their families. Ted?
We are less than a mile away from the school. We're at University Drive in Holmberg Road. A good portion of this road is still shut down. No ordinary traffic is being allowed to go to the school. I just heard a parent in a minivan here at this intersection ask a police officer, is there a way that she can get to her child? So you still have plenty of parents that are out here still trying to get reunited with their children. About 1 to 2 hours ago, we did see about 100 to 150 parents here at this intersection, and they were here because it was the closest area in which law enforcement had a heavy presence, in which they could be connected with their children. A lot of parents were on their cell phones trying to reach their children, and if they did reach their children, they were trying to figure out how they could connect. We saw plenty of parents. We saw plenty of students arrive here at this intersection, running towards their parents, squeezing them tight, some of them crying, walking away to the scene, walking away from this intersection and heading home. We're not sure how long this intersection will remain closed, but as you can imagine, it can last for quite a while since you have so many investigators at the school collecting evidence, trying to figure out why this happened, and trying to get to the core of this situation here. So that's the very latest here at the intersection here, not far from the school. I'm Ted White for Wpbf 25 News. Back to you.
All right, Ted, thank you.
And such a terrifying afternoon for the students who were in their classrooms. Gianna Caserta joining us again. And Gianna, you have new video that we're just seeing of students hearing the gunfire this afternoon.
That's right. We just got this into our newsroom. We've been seeing it on social media, but now we have it. Let's go ahead and take a listen. It is very, very hard to listen to. You can see all those students crouched down. They don't know where that's coming from. You can hear several gunshots over and over again. You can hear one student screaming, "Oh my God." It's hard to see where that is coming from exactly, but just listening to that really puts it into perspective of what those students were going through. You could see they were all crowded together. It looked like in the back of that classroom, crowded together for safety, and to hear those gunshots, and we know that it lasted between 4 and 6 minutes, those gunshots. You can imagine that must have been an eternity for those students hearing that, not knowing if your classroom is next, if that shooter is walking into your classroom next. So that video just into our newsroom. We're going to continue scouring social media and trying to get more information and more video and pictures like that, just to kind of give us some insight of what it was like for those students there at Stoneman Douglas. Back to you.
It just makes your stomach turn. It's just so sickening.
With kids in high school, it's hard to watch that video and just imagine, like you said, I mean, those kids have nowhere to run. They're locked down. Right. They're in that classroom. Those gunshots sounded very clear.
And sounded so close and so loud. Just absolutely horrifying for those those students. We're also hearing tonight from one of those students who said that a teacher saved their lives by that teacher's heroic action. So let's listen to that sound.
Well, Lynn, Alex here was actually inside of a classroom when the gunman walked past her classroom, and she said she heard the gunshots, and she's telling us that her teacher did not make it out. What happened, Alex?
So we heard our fire alarm for the second time that day, which was weird, and we left the classroom, which he locked the door so we could leave. And when people were halfway down the stairwell, it just stopped. The alarm stopped. And we heard gunshots coming from the first floor, the second floor, and people were running upstairs, even from the second floor. And we all got upstairs and into our classrooms. And when he tried to unlock the door, me and a couple other people ran in. And as he was closing the door, he was actually shot and killed right there. And the door was left open the whole time. So as he walked by, the door was open. He could have walked in at any time, and we just had to be as quiet as possible.
Where did you run when that happened, Alex? You had to have been so terrified.
Yeah, I ran. I was waiting for my teacher to open the door, and after that, I just bolted into our same classroom, and we all hid in the corner, and that was it. That's all I saw until
and you ran with some friends, and your teacher stayed there, obviously, on the ground.
Yeah.
So he ran back to open the classroom for you guys. So you could be safe, apparently.
So when we ran in, yeah, he was about to close the door.
After they'd gotten back in, he was trying to lock the door to keep the students safe, and before he had a chance to close and lock the door, that's when he got shot.
Mom, what are your thoughts?
I'm just terrified. We just moved here from Canada a few months ago, and the thought that this would be where we would be with a school shooting is a nightmare. Never imagined.
What to the teacher that possibly saved your daughter's life?
I feel sick about the teacher. Every time I think about it, I feel sick about it. I can't even imagine that he's not here anymore. I feel terrible. And I believe they had just earlier after the break, done some drills on this exact kind of situation, which is, I think, why the teachers and students knew what to do in this instance.
Unbelievable. Alex, how were there chaos? Were people yelling inside of that school in that freshman building?
Yeah, I remember hearing this. Somebody down the hall was screaming, like, "Help me, come save me," or I didn't hear really crying, but he was just yelling the whole time, like, for someone to come save him. But like, we weren't gonna move because we didn't know who it was, if it was someone faking it.
Did you hear so many gunshots? Was it?
Yes. I did hear a lot coming from the floor below me before I ran back up to my classroom, and then I did hear some in the hallway, and then it stopped, but we didn't move because we knew that he was probably still in there, because if the cops were going to come.
Students should never have to see. Thank you so much for speaking with us. I'm so sorry, Alex, that you had to go through this, but the deafening sound of gunshots going through the hallway here at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, a mother happy to have her daughter here tonight, but so many others don't have that luxury out here. Just a sad day here in Parkland as parents now reunite with their children, and we now hear these awful, horrific tales of survival. And these kids were feared for their lives. They ran to safety, and they were afraid they were going to get shot. And it's just a sad day out here in Parkland. Back to you guys.
It has been a heartbreaking day for the South Florida community, and to listen to that young student, Alex, her name, and to describe what she saw as her teacher was shot right in front of them, trying to protect his students. You know, authorities have not released the identities of any of the victims. All we know as of right now, 17 people are dead. Some students, some teachers, but we really don't have an exact count.
And we know from earlier today reports that the shooting happened in the 9th grade wing of the school. So you're talking about about 14-year-old kids, mostly 15-year-old kids, having to see that and just thinking that they're getting ready. It was Valentine's Day. Everybody went to school with balloons and Valentines to give to friends.
They're the babies of the school.
Right. And so this is, as we continue to hear more details, it's even more horrifying and more terrifying to hear stories like Alex. We want to go now live to Ari Height, who has been in Broward County for most of the afternoon. And Ari, we know earlier you were at Broward Health North Hospital, where many of the victims were taken in, as well as the suspect. Tell us where you are now and what you're hearing and seeing.
Well, we, of course, have identified the suspect as Nicholas Cruz, and so what we were trying to do is find people who know Nicholas Cruz, and we had an address for a Nicholas Cruz, and, you know, you talk about what a terrifying day this has been for so many people, but listen to this story for a second. The home that we went to is in Wilton Manors, which is about 30 minutes south of where this shooting happened. We knocked on the door, and the family that lives there, yes, a Nicholas Cruz lives there, but it's not the Nicholas Cruz who was involved allegedly in this shooting today. But the parents who were there didn't know that. What they had known originally was that somebody named Nicholas Cruz, they had heard about this before the name was confirmed. It was already out there on social media. They, of course, were terrified, having no idea what was happening, hearing their child's name out there. But it turns out not the same Nicholas Cruz. They were able to finally contact their child, who told them that he was actually out getting a haircut. So the wrong Nicholas Cruz. So what we're doing right now is we're heading to another address in Parkland, closer to the shooting, where we think that Nicholas Cruz may have lived. That's what we're trying to find right now. Find more people who knew him. Maybe somebody can try to explain to us what exactly was going on. Maybe somebody can explain to us what was going through this young man's head that made him allegedly do this today.
Hey, what's interesting is that we watched live as it was happening, and you can see that video from earlier today when authorities had the suspect surrounded. They put him in handcuffs. He seemed to be standing on his own. He seemed to be okay. They put him into the back of that patrol car, and then a short time later they took him out, put him in a stretcher, and took him to the hospital. But his visit to the hospital was a very short one.
Yes, it was. He was in there, I think, for about an hour or so. I'm not exactly sure of the precise time. When they brought him out, though, they brought him out in a wheelchair. They loaded him into a sheriff's cruiser, and they took him away. And when he came into the hospital and when he left the hospital, he had a very large police escort, at least more than a dozen deputies and police officers that were with him, some on motorcycles, some in cruisers, obviously making sure that they know exactly where he is and that he gets to the places where they want him to get without any kind of a problem. The hospital, the entire time he was there were a number of deputies there, a number of police officers there as well, and a lot of them left as soon as the suspect left as well.
Ari Height live for us tonight in Broward County. What you're seeing here is the video of the suspect in his hospital gown being led into the Broward County Jail. This is from about an hour ago, where he was booked. What we are learning about Nicholas Cruz is that he was suspended from that high school for disciplinary action. He's 18 years old. He had on him today an AR-15 rifle with countless magazines. So we are slowly learning a little bit more about who Nicholas Cruz is, and Ari will continue, of course, working his sources down in Broward County. Correct. And continue to try to find out a little bit more about what would have prompted somebody to go on this shooting rampage.
This is a new picture, and you can see it was a Coral Springs police car that first spotted him. That's the Nicholas Cruz is the one in the burgundy shirt with authorities surrounding him, but that is the first time we're seeing his face. We've seen video of him, an aerial view. We've seen pictures of him from behind as he was being taken to the hospital and put into the ambulance, but this is the first time we are seeing him up close.
And in the quest to find out more information about Nicholas Cruz, the Broward County Sheriff Office now telling us that the FBI tip line is open. They would like anybody who may have seen anything today or maybe knows anything about the suspect to call this number. It's 1-800-225-5324.
Which translates to 1-800-CALL-FBI. All right, and now we want to go back. We heard from the Broward County School Superintendent earlier today talking about this tragedy, and, you know, he was still trying to come to grips with what had happened, and he said this is something you pray never happens in your school district. Let's listen in.
It's a day that you pray every day. I get up that we will never have to see. It is in front of us, and I ask the community for your prayers, your support for these children and their families. We're going to do whatever we can to come together as a community to pull through this, and we will.
We are going to interrupt that news conference because we want to go live now to some emergency room doctors, some trauma doctors who treated some of the victims today.
IGORNICHIPORENKO medical doctor. I'm a trauma medical director for Broward Health North.
Okay, can you talk to us about what you guys have been seeing
Sure.
today?
So, good evening. First and foremost, we want to extend our sympathy, condolence for all those people, family members involved in the tragedy today. Through a Broward Health system, we received 17 patients. At Broward Health North, we received 8 patients and 1 suspect. The suspect was treated and released in police custody. Of our 8 patients, we had 2 mortalities, 3 in critical condition, and 3 are stable.
What condition was the suspect in?
I cannot disclose that.
Can you repeat again? I'm sorry, I think the first sentence you said 17 patients at Broward Health North, but I don't believe that's correct.
No. System-wide in Broward Health, there was a total of 17 patients.
System-wide.
9 here, 7 Broward General, and 1 at Coral Springs.
Can you talk about what type of injuries you're seeing? How serious are these?
Of the 8 patients that we had, not including the suspect, 2 mortalities, 3 in critical condition, 3 stable.
But what are you seeing? What kind of wounds?
Out of respect for the family members, out of respect for our patients, we're not going to disclose that information.
Are these all gunshot victims?
Yes, they are. They're all gunshot victims.
Okay, so sometimes we see people that are trampled on their way out or sustain other sorts of injuries, so that's why we wanted to clarify that. So all the 8 victims here, those were all gunshot wounds, correct? Some sort of gunshot wound.
That is correct.
Can you elaborate on the ages of the patients that were brought here?
Again, we can't talk about the age or any information related to the patients out of respect to the families.
Can you talk about, were you guys, I know you guys were in lockdown. Was this can you describe for us, is this a mass casualty incident? What was it like inside as these patients were coming here after the shooting?
Sure. So we work very closely with our pre-hospital personnel, fire rescue, on scene, in conjunction with Broward Sheriff Office. Pre-hospital communicates information to us. We routinely run drills at our institution to be ready for instances like this. So we have a process in place that gets initiated, so there's calm, collected care that our patients receive.
Can you tell us anything about the fatalities, at least their ages? Do you believe they're students, possibly people that were working at the school?
We prefer not to comment on our patients and respect for our patients.
Can you talk about just personally, seeing this sort of thing, knowing that just as human beings outside of being doctors, treating these people who have come in here after experiencing one of, if not the worst event of their lives, and having the responsibility of treating these people and ensuring the best outcome that they can have. How does that affect you all just as human beings?
Well, we do this every day. So what we saw today, we have penetrating trauma, non-penetrating trauma. We level 2 trauma center, and that's what we do every day. So fortunately for everybody, we were located very close to the high school where this shooting happened. So fortunately for everybody, they brought these patients to our hospital, and we were able to do a great job to do the right thing.
How do you, the suspect was brought here. I know you can't say much about, his medical condition or whatever. But for a lot of people at home, you know, they might be surprised that the suspect was being brought here. How do you guys kick in the Hippocratic Oath and do your job and knowing what this guy potentially is accused of doing?
Every patient that comes in gets treated as a patient, and we take care of them medically, and that's what we do.
Was there any particular reason why he was brought to this facility versus one of your other facilities? Hospital systems?
Because of the location. They have to go to the nearest trauma facility, and we were the nearest trauma facility.
Is this the biggest mass casualty you can remember?
For our hospital, yes.
Are you expecting more victims?
We cannot comment on that.
Can you tell us if it was large caliber, small caliber?
No, we cannot comment on that.
Do you know the update on conditions for the other hospitals, the patients at the other hospitals?
Not right now.
Of the 6 patients that are still here, will any of them be released tonight?
No.
Are any of them still in surgery? Did surgeries go on after the incident?
We still have 3 patients in the operating rooms right now, and they're in stable condition.
Did all of them undergo some kind of surgery?
No.
Can you describe what those who, or I guess were not as serious injuries, what their demeanor was like? Can you, I mean, I know it's obvious, but if you can describe it for us?
Well, I mean, I prefer not to comment on a specific patient's demeanor, but, you know, as a human being, you could imagine that they would be in shock or, you know, be emotional about the whole situation.
Can you describe, you got a call at mass casualty coming in?
Pardon me?
You got a call mass casualty coming in? Is that how?
We work closely with our pre-hospital personnel and set that up.
Jump into.
Yep.
How many
Can you walk through what's next for these patients, specifically the 3 in critical, 3 unstable, and their families? In terms of services, I understand chaplains are now here.
They're going to have successful surgeries. They're going to recover. They're going to go home.
Thank you. How many doctors are working on this?
Thanks very much. Have a good night.
Thank you.
You've been listening to a news conference with the emergency room doctors down at Broward Health North in Pompano, where some of the victims of today's mass shooting, as well as the suspect, were taken and treated. We know that 3 people are still in critical condition, 3 in stable condition.
And a quick note from OneBlood, while the immediate blood needs have been met today for the emergency and the trauma there is a need to replenish the areas that of the O-negative blood supply. O-negative is the universal blood type and is used to treat trauma patients. So again, blood needs have been met for the immediate time being, but they do need to replenish all that was used today. That is from OneBlood.
We want to go now to our Gianna Caserta. She has been monitoring social media with some of the latest video that's been posted. Gianna?
That's right. We just have some new video that I just saw. Now, Alex Navas is the one who actually posted this video on Instagram, and ABC picked it up. Let's go ahead and take a look. Let me just play this for you. It just goes to show you people were running and hiding wherever they could. You can see this is video that's showing students hiding under an overpass in the aftermath of this deadly shooting there at Stoneman Douglas High School. So this is somebody driving by who was recording students who were hiding underneath the overpass. So people were running and hiding anywhere they could. I want to just go ahead and update. You know, we just heard from those doctors, and they say that they had 17 patients be brought to hospitals system-wide. That includes 8 patients and the suspect, of course, at Broward Health North. Of those 8 people, we know that 2 of those people died. 3 are in critical condition, and then 3 are in stable condition right now. We know that 7 victims were taken to Broward General, and 1 was taken to Coral Springs. And, you know, reporters there at the scene, they were asking those doctors, is this the biggest mass casualty you've ever seen? And they said, yes, this is the biggest mass casualty they have had at their hospital there at Broward Health North. They also mentioned that 3 people are still in the operating room right now. And they went ahead and told us that those 3 people who are still being worked on by doctors, they are in stable condition. So as of right now, we do know that their vitals are stable, those 3 people who are in the hospital. Let's go ahead and take a look again at this video here. This was posted by Alex Navas. Somebody was driving. They were driving down through near the school. Let me see if we're going to let this work here. And you can see people were running and hiding wherever they could. You can see this is students hiding under an overpass there in Parkland, trying to get away from the shooter. We do know that that shooter was taken to the hospital. That shooter was taken to Broward Health North and then released and has been booked in jail for the time being. And we are going to continue scouring social media.